Paul, it's beginning to look a lot like the officials are calling this a lot like you would a championship basketball game, calling even the questionable fouls, not letting anything get by them. Now, Billy Camphausen is a spokesman for CART. Billy, you're really calling this one awfully tight to the vest. A lot of violations, stop and goes, but you're not letting anybody get away with anything.
So the violations are being called the way we see them, the same as we would always see them.
Now, there was some complaints by Ari Leyendijk's team that running over a plastic water bottle may not have really fallen into a pit infraction. What's CART's position?
The water bottle is part of the equipment. It shouldn't be thrown in the condition that it did, and it landed in the pit area. He ran over it with rear tires, and that is a penalty.
Like I said, it looks a lot like sometimes, you know, when a basketball player slaps another one, they call a personal foul, and sometimes they don't. You're not getting away with anything here on pit road.
Well, Bobby Unser, you got a few thousand miles on this circuit under both rules of CART and USAC before that.
Well, Paul, we've all watched a lot of water bottles. They're just plastic, and we've watched them get run over many a times, and they don't really hurt people. And I think it's a little bit questionable on why they're deciding today to pick on things quite that tight.
Jack made the point earlier that Rick Mears, who we see here now leading the race, if he could succeed today, could start to whittle away the points lead that Emerson Fittipaldi has coming into this race. Now that lead was 40 points going into this race. You see,
you saw Rick Mears come through. We're looking back to second place, and there he is, Mario Andretti. As we take a look at this battle constantly at the front of the field.
Let's suppose Rick can win today and Emerson scores no points. That would cut the point lead in half, down to 20 points. The interesting thing is that in the past,
we've got a yellow as Bernard Jourdain lights up an engine. Turbocharger combination brings it into the pits. So we are under caution once again at 134 laps, and that should bring the leader of the race, Rick Mears, in. And indeed, he turns his car down onto pit road and into the Penske pits.
Richard Buck's team, Team Penske, for Rick Mears. They've gone to work. They're checking as if they were going to change tires from the helmet cam. You can see they've elected not to. A very quick stop as he pulls out and away past his teammate. Al Unser Sr. is also on pit road.
Interesting view from that little camera mounted on the earpiece of Richard Buck's headphones. Bernard Jourdain's car now, the Horton safety team is right there.
Boy, it sure shows you how much a pitman moves around. We couldn't really tell where the camera was half the time there.
There you see it again as he looks down to Roger Penske. And there is Michael Andretti in, again under this caution, as he makes a stop. The Newman-Hahn through, gives it a shove, and they're back into the run.
You notice how much easier Michael's taking off out of the pits now. He's not breaking his tires loose. He doesn't want to spin again, Paul.
Well, back into the action goes the 6th car of Michael Andretti. Road Handler presents the Michigan 500. We'll be back with more racing after this message and a word from our ABC station. Back at the Michigan 500 under the caution as the field rolls around and should be coming back to a green flag very shortly. Interesting tactics here. Mario Andretti is the leader. He did not stop during this caution, but his son Michael did. Now the predicted stop for Mario Andretti should be about the 155th lap. We are at the 138th lap. Ari Leyendijk made a stop, had a little bit of a problem. He locked his wheels up as he came into the pits. And the question, of course, is Michael and Mario Andretti. Michael makes a stop, protecting their position in 3rd place, while Mario, the leader of the race, is apparently going to gamble on the possibility of another caution before he would have to make his scheduled stop at 155, or that he is going to get enough of a lead running a little lighter fuel load than the others and get out far enough in front to make his stop without losing the lead, or at least losing a front position. Mario Andretti is the leader. Rick Mears is 2nd. Michael Andretti is 3rd as they come back toward the green flag. Emerson Fittipaldi, there he is, has worked his way now up and lies in 8th place. But he is still 2 laps behind the leaders. He didn't pick up any particular advantage during this caution period. Now the green flag comes out again. We watch to the front of the field as Mario Andretti will have clean air and clean sailing ahead and already begins to pull a little bit on Rick Mears. Michael Andretti battling with Emerson Fittipaldi, not for position, but Michael just to get past so that he can do battle with Rick Mears, the 2nd place runner.
Boy, and that's a hard one to get around. This ought to be a good race right here. Michael right behind Emerson Fittipaldi, or behind Al. The cars look identical the same. You really can't see the difference until you see the numbers, Paul.
Not often you miss your own brother on the track. And he got around him, so now he is able to close up and start to fight with Rick Mears. But this will give Mario Andretti an opportunity for some laps now to run just totally flat out. And remember, he is not carrying a full fuel load. In fact, it's about halfway down. He should be able to really turn some laps. They were averaging some laps above 220 just before this caution period.
Well, we knew that they were going to be running over 220 during the race, but they certainly aren't doing it. And Mario, and like you brought up just a little bit ago, opt for the clean air, get some distance between he and the other car. Now we're going to see whether he's going to be able to put that on Rick and on his son Michael, because it's really going to be hard to make up a yellow flag stop.
We are about to, there's Roger Penske, you see him from the back. We are about to witness an exciting battle for the lead, I believe, between two men of very dissimilar backgrounds. Mario Andretti on the left, currently leading. Rick Mears closing in on it. Andretti's career, of course, immensely varied. Formula One, world champion, experience all through Europe. Rick Mears has concentrated on this form of racing, and more to the point, on super speedway racing, just like this.
One of the best there is, that yellow number 4 car, as he pulls down inside Mario Andretti and picks up the lead. You can't find a finer oval driver in the world than Rick Mears. His wife, Chris, Barbara Hellier, alongside the chief scorer for the Penske team, has just marked Rick Mears out in front.
Let me tell you one reason why Rick is such a good oval driver. There's A.J. Foyt in car number 14, slowing down, the 4-time Indy champion. Back to the idea of Rick Mears, why he is so good here. Because the car is in a corner for so long. Rick's exceptional ability to feel a car and how it is cornering comes into play, and he is able to make the correct adjustments during the pit stops. In the shorter turns of road racing, you can't bring that edge that he has over the others to bear. Mario, incidentally, able to hang on in the slipstream of Rick Mears here and is not giving up.
So if Mario had any idea of pulling out a lead on Rick and protecting a possible pit stop in about 12 laps, that's certainly gone away now as Rick Mears worked his way back, picked up the lead. Mario is second.
That's pit strategy that comes from the pit. There's A.J. Foyt in the pits with obviously some sort of a serious problem because he's getting out, Paul. But Rick, or excuse me, the deal with Mario not coming in is a pit strategy they did. They probably thought he could put some clean air between he and Rick Mears by staying out. Obviously, it didn't work out, so we're going to wonder if they don't get a yellow, whether they should have come in that last one or not.
One of the greatest drivers ever to take an IndyCar wheel in hand, A.J. Foyt, steps out of his car and away. His Michigan 500 is apparently done.
But you know,
he had a great run there for a while.
But you know, Paul, while other drivers, I think, have conceded the fact that in this day of racing, you have to really have a top team. The driver, you see Jack Starnes, AJ's crew chief there, you really have to have a terrific team behind you. And AJ, although he has Starnes and many other good men on the team, does not have the total team to put him at the front. He's got to do something about that.
Let's go to Brian.
A.J. Foyt out of the race after a tremendous run. What happened, A.J.?
Well, actually, all I've had is mechanical problems. The guys aren't got their heads together and just flat got their heads up their ass, if you want to know the truth about it.
You were running 5th today. You were running very strong early.
I know, but the car was screwed up from the first lap on. The wastegate was open and closing. I was having trouble there, and then the bearing went out. We got here, they left the fuel lines loose. It caught the car on fire. Then they leave the bella loose. They cross-thread 2 rear nuts. They're just screwed up. That's all. I need to make a change.
A.J. Foyt not happy with his crew here at Michigan. Paul?
You know, it's too bad, too, because I'm of the opinion that if A.J. Foyt would use that team and test a little bit more and spend more time in practice, he'd be up running with the likes of a Rick Mears any day.
I, too, would jump to the defense of some of his men. There's Chris.
He's had a hot spell here lately. You know, he's been going fast. There's Mo into the pits again. Foyt's had a hot streak here lately. He's really been fast in the stock cars and the IROC cars. And there he is leaving on his little bike. And he wants to race right now. I don't care how old he is. The guy is racy right now, so he needs to get his team lined up and get things where he's happy again.
And as we saw in the IROC yesterday, and we'll no doubt see again in 2 weeks when we see the final round of the 4-race IROC Series. Foyt is still capable of throwing a race car around a racetrack. He is terrific.
Well, the team seems to have prepared his motor scooter quite well. It's running beautiful.
Well, maybe AJ works on that himself.